Ever stop to think, like, what would the world be like without ATMs?
Can't say I have, no. Probably pretty chaotic.
Right. Total chaos, lines for days. But seriously, it's something most of us take for granted, and that's what we're diving into today.
Oh, interesting. So are we talking about like the history of the ATM?
Kind of. We're focusing on the company behind those machines, Hyosung Americas, because they just had a huge leadership change, and, well, it's a pretty big deal.
Hyosung Americas, okay. I know the name rings a bell, but give me the rundown.
So they're actually a subsidiary of this big South Korean company, Hyosung Group. And yeah, they're huge GE in the ATM world, but they're branching out, getting really into software and all sorts of tech solutions. Real fintech players.
Makes sense. They got the hardware side down. Why not go for the software too, right?
Exactly. And to lead this whole thing, they've promoted Nancy Gail Daniels to COO. And let me tell you, this is not just another exec shuffling offices. This woman has had a career spanning, get this, over half a century.
Whoa, hold on. 50 years in tech. That's almost unheard of.
Right. Talk about seeing it all. From like the really early days of computing to today's world of fintech and everything in between. So this promotion, it's kind of a big deal.
It's a massive deal. I mean, she's got to have seen it all. Every up, every down, every trend, every crash.
Talk about a wealth of experience, right?
Exactly. And speaking of experience, she didn't just pop out of nowhere. Daniels has a history with some major players like NCR, Fujitsu, heavy hitters. That's got to be invaluable insight, especially in such a fast-paced industry, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. She's seen firsthand what works, what flops, and probably has a good idea of what's coming next.
It's not even just adapting anymore. It's straight up shaping the future.
Totally. I mean, think about it. 50 years in an industry that reinvents itself basically every other Tuesday. She's been through it all, and now she's COO. So what does that mean for Hyosung Americas, right?
Right. Well, I'd say it's a pretty clear signal. Hyosung, they're not just content with being the ATM king anymore. They want a piece of that sweet, sweet software pie.
Okay, but what's their edge? They're obviously killing it on the hardware front, but software, that's a different beast.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I mean, do they try to go head-to-head with the big dogs like FIS or Fiserv? Or do they carve out their own niche?
See, that's what I'm wondering too. Do they leverage all that hardware know-how to create some crazy integrated solutions? Or maybe they're cooking up some next-level security software because cybersecurity is like the biggest thing right now.
It's huge. Honestly, it could be anything. Maybe they've got this whole new approach to mobile banking, something nobody's even thought of yet.
That's what makes this so fascinating. We can speculate all day long, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to what Daniels decides to do.
And that's what's so exciting. This isn't just another executive appointment. It's like hitting the reset button on a company's trajectory.
You know, I'm picking up what you're putting down. It's almost like a career lesson for everyone listening, even if you're not in tech. I mean, talk about reinventing yourself. It's inspiring.
100%. Daniel's story is proof that learning and growth, they don't stop, ever, no matter how long you've been in the game.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? Like, what am I doing to challenge myself? What can I learn today?
Exactly. Because who knows, maybe in 50 years, it'll be one of our listeners taking on a huge role and shaking up their industry.
And then we'll be here geeking out about their career path.
I listened to that episode.
Me too. But for now, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive. Huge thanks to you all for listening in, and be sure to check back next week when we'll be